This is my update for the Beauty A to Z Project Pan. This is a Pantastic Ladies collab, and all of the information will be in the description box below, as well as a link to the Pantastic Ladies Facebook group. This year for this project, I'm using all of my single shadows. All of my magnetic pan single shadows are in a spreadsheet, alphabetized. I roll them in, I use them 5 times, and I randomly select the next one. Hi, I'm Andi. Welcome or welcome back. I'm really happy that you're here. I have some great progress this month. I'm only going to give you updates on shadows that I have used. I will give you some B-roll of what they look like up close, as well as what they look like swatched. Let's start with letter A. And this is the shadow called Asteria, and this is a Divina shadow. And it is absolutely beautiful. And I don't know if you can see the nice dip that's in that. I love this shadow. I have used this a total of 3 times since it was rolled in the intro. So I have 2 more uses to go before I can roll this out. For the letter C, we have the Looksy shadow in Charmed, a little flippy number that is like a lavender and pink and icy blue shift. I have used this once since the last update. I have a total of 2 uses, so I need 3 more uses before this can be rolled out. For the letter E, I have the shade Escapism. This is a ColourPop single from the Lavish palette. It was originally in the Lavish palette. I had absolutely no use on this palette when I depotted it. I used the shade 1 time since it was rolled in, so I have 4 more uses on that. For the letter F, we have another Divina shadow, and this is in the shade Frozen Secrets. It is a gold to pink, beautiful shift. Love this shadow. I have used this twice since it was brought in last month. So I have 3 more uses before it can roll out. Gladly. I will gladly use this 3 more times. For the letter H, we have the shade Honeycomb. And this is from the Wannabe palette from ColourPop. This is our first rollout, you guys. I used this twice since the last update for a total of 5 uses. It is rolling out. For the letter I, we have another shadow that has been with us since the intro in January. This is the shade Iffy, and this is also a ColourPop shadow, and this is from the Lilac You A Lot palette. It only has 1 use on it. 4 more uses before I can roll it out. This is one of ColourPop's great formulas, and it is so pigmented in such a pretty purple shade. I know that I will enjoy getting the 4 more uses. For the letter K, we have the shade Knee Highs. This is also a ColourPop shadow, and this is from the Plush Like Me palette. This is another rollout this month. I used this 3 times since the last update for a total of 5 uses. And yay for another rollout. For the letter M, we have the shade Maraschino. This is also a ColourPop single. This is from the Main Squeeze palette. This was rolled in the intro also, and I had no usage on this last month up to the last update. I have used it 4 times since the last update, and this was a surprise for me. I didn't think I was going to get much use on this. I thought it was going to be a chore. Not a chore. It's a beautiful orangey pink shadow, and I very much enjoyed using this, but I still have 1 use to go before I can roll it out. For the letter N, we have the shade Nostalgia, ColourPop shadow from the Through My Eyes palette. This is another rollout, you guys. I had 2 uses on it up to the last update. I used it another 5 times. 7 uses. This is rolling out. Up next for the letter O, we have the shade Over Ice. This is also a ColourPop shade, and it is from the By the Rose palette. This again was used more than the 5 times. I used it 3 times up to the last update, and then I have another 3 uses on it. It just was going to go perfectly with a look that I did. So this has been used 6 times. But I've met the 5 use goal for this project, and it is rolling out. Except for the letter P, I have the Pretty Little Lilac. This is from Give Me Glow. This is back when they had their big pans, and I love this shade. This is one of my favorite purple shades that I have in my entire collection, And I have only used this once. I used this with the Iffy and the Charmed, the Looksy Charmed shade. So one time, so 4 more uses before this can roll out. I have a feeling I'm going to be using it with those other 2 shades again because they worked so well together. Loved them. Next up for the letter Q, I have the shade Main Squeeze. I had to get a little creative with the Qs because I only had one shade that started with Q. So if I have a shadow that had a Q in it, it went in the Q column. This is from Copacetic, and it is a beautiful pinky gold flip, and I really enjoyed using this. This was brought in last month, and I've used it 3 times. So I still have 2 uses to go before it can roll out. Next up for the letter T, I have the ColourPop 2B. This is from the Wannabe palette also. And this really surprised me too. I had 0 use on this the first month that it was in here. I have used it 3 times since the last update. So I still have 2 uses to go on this. The next shadow that I have progress on is for the letter W, and it is the shade Wild Soul. This is also ColourPop, and this is from the Through My Eyes palette also. I have 3 in here from that. It is kind of a mustardy yellow, and I used this with the Wannabe. But I only have 2 uses on this. It was brought in last month. I have 2 uses on this. So I have 3 more uses to go before I can roll. For the letter X, again, had to get creative. I have nothing that starts with X. But I have the shade Relax from Sydney Grace. This was brought in the intro, and I had no use on it last month. However, I used it the 5 times that I needed to get this rolled out. If you saw my last update, you will know that I have 3 taupes in here, and they're all pretty dang similar. So I'm really happy to get this rolled out, and then I can concentrate on the other 2 taupes that are in this project. For the letter Y, I have another Sydney Grace single, and it is called You Have Me. This is such a pretty brick red. This was brought in for the intro. I had 1 use on it up to the last update. I have used it an additional 5 times, so I have 6 uses on this. It is rolling out. Another rollout. And then finally for the letter Z, another letter that I had to get creative because I have very few Z's, although I do have a few. But if it has a Z in it, it's going in the Z column for the most part. This is the shade Rose Quartz from Bella Beauté Bar. I had 3 uses on this up until the last update. I have used it an additional 2 times, so this is also rolling out. We have 7 rollouts. When I first started this project, I was thinking, is this going to work? Is this going to work out? Yes, it's working beautifully. Love it. So I'm going to bring up my A to Z master list that has all of my columns with all of my letters. I did do some finagling between the last update and this update because I have some columns that barely have anything. And so like the Q's and the Z's, I kind of got a little creative with some K's. Like for instance, I have some shade names that have K's in them that start with F. I have a ton of F's, so I switched those over to the K column. I just wanted it to be a little bit more even, and I know that there's going to be columns, there's going to be letters that roll out completely, and that's fine because I have a ton of singles, so we'll just keep rolling them in until December. All right, I'm having issues with my screen record again, so I'm just going to have to show it to you. It keeps stopping, and I don't know why that is, but it's okay. It's all right. So the first shadow that is rolling out starts with an H. And if I go to my master list, I have 13 H's. So we're going to put in 1 through 13. Shade 9. Shade 9 is Home Slice. No idea what that is. We'll find out together. The next one is for the letter K. And I have 12 with K's. Remember, that's one of the ones where I got creative and put in other shade names as long as they had a K in it. So shade 10. Sorry. Shade 10 is Soaked. I need to see what palette that's in, because I think it's a ColourPop, but I need to see what palette it's from, because it's from the, if it's from the High Tide palette, I'm re-rolling. It is not. Okay. It is not. I already have 3 in here from the High Tide palette, and I don't want any more. So Soaked is from the In the Springs palette. Next we have Ins, and I have 9 that have an N. So let's go to 1 through 9. Shade number 4 is No Drama. Don't know what that is. I know it's ColourPop, but I don't know what exactly it is. Next we have O's, and I have 14 that start with O. Yeah, they all start with O. Shade number 13, it's called On the Prowl. No idea. I'm pretty sure it's ColourPop, because I have more ColourPop than anything, and that's a problem, but whatever. Next is the letter X. And remember, I don't have any that start with X, so they all have X's in them. I have 5. I have 5. Shade number 1, it's called Chillax. I think that's a purple. I'm copying and pasting them from my spreadsheet to my other spreadsheet. And then, what's the other one? What's the next one? The next one is letter Y. I have 11 with Y in them. They don't all start with Y, but they have Y in them. Shade 11. It's called Yours Forever. I'm pretty sure that that is another Sydney Grace. We just rolled out a Sydney Grace, and it might be a red or a pink. I don't know. For the letter Z, we have a lot, because I have a lot of shades that have Z's in them, and I put them all in there. I think I put them all in there. We have 13. No, we have 12. We have 12. But for the letter Z, that's kind of a lot. Okay. Shade number 3, Crystal Crazy. I don't know what that is. That might be from the Lavish palette. Another one from the Lavish palette. We'll see. All right, you guys, I'm going to go off camera. I'm going to get all of these shades together. Come back. We'll discuss. While I'm off choosing the roll-ins, please enjoy this little montage of the looks that I created with these shadows this month. Popping back in here to let you know that for the letter K, we are re-rolling, because this is the shade Soaked. This is the shade Just a Splash. We're not doing that. So for the letter K, we have 12. So let's get back on here and re-roll. Okay, I already had 12 in there. So shade 12. Starstruck. Okay, I don't know what that is, but we're going to go with that. And the reason that I have so many S's in here, they have K's in them, is because I have a ton of S's. Ton. Okay, be back. Hi, it's me again. We need to redraw for No Drama, because that was actually broken. It fell out of the pan and was a mess. And I actually had it down as something else. So we're going back to the ends, and we're going to do 1 through 8. Okay, 1 through 8. Shade number 4. What's this? What's this? Shade number 4. Shade number 4 is Nocturne. I think that's going to be okay. Okay, we'll be back. Okay, I finally got my stuff together. I do. I'm okay with all of the shadows that we have. Not enamored, not over the moon, but I'm okay with them. So let's start with the letter H, which is Home Slice, and this is from the Main Squeeze palette. There is another shade in here from the main squeeze. This is more of a satin, where the other one is a shimmer. So I am okay with that being in here. And then for the letter K, we finally got Starstruck. And this is from the Blow and Smoke palette. It is a beautiful silver shimmer, and I am definitely okay with having that in here. The next shade for the letter N is for the shade Nocturne, and this is from the Through My Eyes palette, and it's really pretty. It's a red shimmer, and I definitely should have re-rolled, and I'll show you why in just a minute. I was tired of re-rolling, you guys. I was tired of re-rolling. I'm like, we'll just whatever we get, we're going to use it. Doesn't matter. We're going to use it. So for the letter O, we have the shade On the Prowl. So I re-rolled because I didn't want something else from the High Tide palette because they're teals and greens. This is from the Through My Eyes palette. It's okay. It's going to stay. It's going to stay. It's going to be okay. Next up for the letter X was the shade Chillax. And this is a ColourPop shade, and it is from the Lavish palette. So these two are both from Lavish, so they go together very well. There are other purples that it's going to go well with also, and it's more of a gray purple, if I'm being honest. It's more of a gray than purple. So I am definitely okay with that being in here because that is a really nice like blending out shade or something like that. Now the next one is for the letter Y, and that is the shade Yours Forever. And guess what, guys? It's a red shimmer. Didn't we do this in the intro? Didn't I have 2, 3 red shimmers in the intro? I didn't want to re-roll again. I didn't want to re-roll. So Sydney Grace, Yours Forever. It's beautiful. It is a beautiful red shimmer, highly pigmented, gorge. It'll be fine. I will use it. Maybe it won't roll out in 1 month, and that's okay. And then finally for the letter Z, we have the shade Crystal Crazy. And this is from the All Amethyst palette. It is another purple, but it is completely different from any of the purples that are in here. So I know that I am going to love it and get some use out of it. Also, it's kind of a grungy purple, and I'm digging that. So this is our new color story. It is a little different. We have another green in there, green, yeah. So these two, though, will probably work really well together. So I might be okay with that. And then as spring comes in, I'm probably going to get more use on my like tealy shades, and that'll be good. I have this new bright orangey shade, and I really love this shade when I used it. So hopefully that is going to do well. And then we have 2 red shimmers. Yay. And then another goal for next month is going to be to roll another one of these taupes out. And I'm probably going to work on this one because look at that pan. I'm thinking that I want to get more use on that and eventually finish it. I know I'll finish it this year because I love taupes. Even though some of the shades that I brought in are not my favorite types of shades, at least I am getting some use on them, and it's letting me decide, it's letting me know if I want to keep them in my collection or if I want to just declutter them, because I'm trying to be very realistic with my whole entire collection. If it's not going to get used, I would rather pass it along. Tell me what you think of the new color story, and let me know if you like the B-roll footage that comes in with a close-up of the shade and a close-up of the swatch. I just feel like you can get a better idea of what it looks like when it's up close like that, rather than me trying to terribly swatch all of the shades that come in. So let me know what you think about that. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you being here. And until next time, everyone have a great day, and we'll see you later.